Second quarter economic growth is projected at 4.3%, falling short of expectations as government flags external headwinds. Security Chief Chris Tang inspects the Huanggang Port area at the redeveloped Huanggang Port, pledging to push for an early opening. And cholera bacteria found in a fish stall at To Kwa Wan Market, prompting a temporary closure. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Zhu. The city's preliminary economic growth figures for the last quarter came in lower than expected. The government expects steady growth in the second half of the year, but warns that external headwinds must be monitored. Bolstered by resilient external trade and domestic demand, the local economy continued to expand. The preliminary estimate for second quarter gross domestic product growth stood at 4.3%. While missing market expectations, this also marked a notable slowdown from the 5.9% growth recorded in the first quarter. Last quarter, total goods exports surged by over 28%, while private consumption grew by nearly 3%. Looking ahead, the government expects steady growth to continue, driven by strong tech exports and rising visitor arrivals. However, officials warned that geopolitical tensions, United States monetary policies, and global trade protectionism remain downside risks. Meanwhile, the pipeline of new private homes across the city has fallen to a four-year low, with the Housing Bureau reporting just 96,000 first-hand units available over the next 3 to 4 years as end of June. The second consecutive quarterly drop and the first time the figure has dipped below 100,000 since early 2023. Quentin Yang reports.
The 96,000 unit figure represents a quarterly decline of 5,000 flats, driven mainly by a 3,000 unit drop in disposed sites ready for immediate development, alongside 1,000 unit decreases each in completed unsold inventory and units currently under construction. Analysts say the drop was broadly anticipated. Vincent Chan, managing director at Vincorn Consulting and Appraisal, said it reflects a healthy primary market where developers have been clearing inventory at a steady pace, easing earlier oversupply fears. However, he cautioned that the downward trend in potential supply is likely to persist through the second half of the year, given uncertainty in interest rate movements and stock market volatility. Despite the overall decline in potential supply, completion surged nearly threefold quarter-on-quarter to about 6,400 units, while construction starts rose more than 35% to roughly 5,600 units, reflecting ongoing activity on the ground. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
The government officially takes over the Huanggang Port, Hong Kong Port area today, as Security Chief Chris Tang vowed to ensure the site must be fully ready before it opens to the public. Evelyn Bai has more.
With the Hong Kong Port area now under Hong Kong SAR jurisdiction, Secretary for Security Chris Tang inspected the redeveloped port and chaired a cross-departmental meeting to push forward remaining preparatory work. Speaking to reporters, Tang said that in the future, there are roughly 20 different tests to conduct, spanning from systems and counter-terrorism drills to passenger flow and transportation management, as well as cross-border exercises with Shenzhen. If the drills are deemed to run smoothly, we will consider announcing the opening date at a proper time, he added, staying tight-lipped about whether the port will open before the National Day Golden Week holiday. Meanwhile, the Shenzhen-Hong Kong boundary will no longer follow the Shenzhen River and will now run through the middle of the immigration gates inside the new port building. The port adopts a collaborative inspection joint clearance mode that allows passengers to complete both Hong Kong and mainland immigration procedures in one go, significantly cutting crossing times. The port is designed to handle a passenger flow of 200,000 trips per day. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Health inspectors have shut down a fish stall at the To Kwa Wan Market after detecting cholera bacteria in one of its tanks. Experts say the potentially lethal germ is commonly found in shellfish, urging citizens to cook such food thoroughly and maintain good hygiene to prevent person-to-person transmission. Quentin Yang reports.
Officers from the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department sealed the stall in the morning and said it will remain shut until hygiene conditions improve. Market goers said they were unaware of the problem and plan to buy from other stalls from now. Some said they would only return after seeing visible improvements. The stall operator said he cleans the stall daily, including using bleach after work, and suggested the contamination could have come from the seafood supply rather than the stall's own hygiene. Infectious disease specialist Joseph Tang said the bacteria can lead to shock, acute kidney failure, and even death. He noted the germs are commonly found in shellfish and can spread to other seafood during transport or at wholesale markets, adding that person-to-person transmission is also possible. If family members or co-workers carry the bacteria and share poorly cleaned toilets or do not wash hands properly. The Center for Health Protection reminded the public that the bacteria can be killed by heat and urged people to cook all food, especially shellfish, until piping hot. Officials also advised using separate utensils for raw and cooked food, storing them apart, and scrubbing shellfish shells before cooking. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Authorities have issued a vermin control notice to the property management of the commercial complex Huanggang Place in Mongkok and inspected the mall after videos of a live rodent making its way along a handrail in the mall went viral. Huanggang Place said it has completed cleaning and disinfection works in the affected area. Evelyn Bai tells us more.
Footage circulating on social media showed the rat running along a handrail at the shopping center, drawing a crowd of onlookers. One resident said he was shocked and was ready to leave because normal restaurants usually have pest control measures in place, and it should not get to the point where something like this is out in the open. One man said the cleaning work in the premises might not be frequent enough, hoping the mall management would pay more attention to the hygiene conditions around restaurants. Chan Pek-shui, a member of the Hong Kong Pest Management Association, said that shopping malls commonly use false ceilings, which contain gaps for rats to enter the premises. Huanggang Place said it has already arranged for a pest control company to conduct thorough cleaning and disinfection, pledging to enhance anti-rodent measures and inspections. The Food and Environmental Hygiene Department said it will closely monitor conditions at the mall, warning of further law enforcement actions if a similar incident happens again. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The 32-year-old man injured in Sunday's Tsim Sha Tsui bar attack died in the small hours this morning. The case has been reclassified as murder, and 2 suspects appeared in Kowloon City Magistrates' Courts this afternoon. The 33-year-old murder suspect and the 37-year-old man charged with assisting an offender were brought to court by police vehicles. Meanwhile, police arrested 2 more non-ethnic Chinese men, aged 29 and 30, in Lok Ma Chau the day before yesterday on suspicion of wounding. Earlier, a 41-year-old man was formally charged with assisting an offender, bringing the total number of arrests to 9 so far. The attack occurred on July 26th at an upstairs bar in Tsim Sha Tsui. Reports said the victim was beaten by a group of strangers over an attitude dispute, leaving him unconscious at the scene with severe head injuries and fractured ribs. He was rushed to hospital, where he underwent 2 brain surgeries before succumbing to his injuries early this morning. United States President Donald Trump said a historic agreement has been reached for Hamas and other armed groups in Gaza to disarm, calling it a cornerstone of his 20-point peace plan. But Israeli officials say they will not withdraw from the enclave until the deal is fully implemented and the territory is demilitarized. Quentin Yang reports.
Trump posted on social media that the US-backed Board of Peace reached a phased deal for Hamas to hand over its weapons, including heavy arms to be stored by Palestinian authorities, as Israel gradually pulls its forces out. He called the plan a turning point that will end Gaza's use as a base for attacks and usher in a new Palestinian administration, backed by an international stabilization force and a rebuilt Palestinian police service. Senior Hamas officials confirmed the group had signed an agreement covering weapons and a staged Israeli withdrawal, but warned it would rearm if Israel violated the terms. Sources familiar with the talks said the document remains a draft, with execution details under discussion, including an 8-month timetable to transfer heavy weapons to Palestinian custody rather than to Israel. It is estimated that the process of decommissioning tunnels and combat facilities could take up to a year. Israeli officials, however, have repeatedly said they will not withdraw beyond current lines until Hamas is fully disarmed and its military infrastructure dismantled, arguing that partial steps or storage of weapons are not enough. Earlier proposals that fell short of outright destruction of weapons were rejected by Israel as failing to meet the precondition for any further pullback. And Jerusalem has not endorsed Trump's latest announcement either. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 25 points. Top active stocks of the day, Alibaba was up $5.20. Tencent was up $3.40. Xiaomi was down $2.26, and SMIC was up $1.25. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar, Euro 9.00, the Australian dollar 5.50. Onto the weather now. Cloudy with showers and squally thunderstorms. Showers will be heavy at times tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 24 and 28 degrees. Moderate east to southeasterly winds. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Ju. Thanks for watching. Good night.